Well, for more, Rabee al-Hafidh joins us now in the studio. He is the Secretary General of the Mosul Foundation. Thanks so much for coming in. In theory, it sounds like such a simple thing. Just get the government to reissue the papers that these people need, free of charge, of course, so that victims of war, especially the most vulnerable children, can just get their lives back. Why is it so hard?
Well, Mosul is the Hiroshima of the Middle East. Hiroshima was destroyed in 45 seconds. Mosul was destroyed over 45 weeks by conventional weapons, but the result is one. The difference between Mosul and Hiroshima and Dresden or Coventry, the destroyed cities in the Second World War, is those cities enjoyed the availability of the government will and the society. Both things are missing in Mosul today. There's no governmental will, and the society has been subjected to exhaustion. The war on ISIS was only a final chapter, a later chapter, but the actual society of Mosul was exhausted throughout the years since 2003 until 2017 when the city was taken back from ISIS. The very power which exposed Mosul to humiliation is back now in Mosul. So it's not a surprise that nothing is actually functioning in Mosul.
But, I mean, there is an international presence around. There are NGOs functioning there. Is there not more that at least the international community could step in and do to get these basic tasks completed? Just issue the documents and the basic schooling.
See, those NGOs want the right circumstances. I mean, back to Hiroshima and Dresden, those cities were made national priority. Governments in those countries took fractions of the budget from other cities and gave it to the destroyed cities. Right. This is not happening. NGOs are not functioning in Mosul simply because there's no security and the corruption is dominating the cities. Okay. So NGOs are not actually functioning in Mosul.
And you were telling me before that actually what our reporter was looking at there with these children suffering from lack of documentation, as well as adults, that's only a tiny fraction, actually, of what's really going on in the bigger picture here. So talk to us about the bigger issues that are affecting the majority of people in Mosul, just trying to get their basic lives back to normal.
The bigger picture is the absence of the state, the lawlessness, the role of the militia, which is replacing the government, the corruption, insecurity, mass migration of the indigenous population of the city because of the corruption and insecurity, and settling of strangers in the city, and on top of that, mass sale of properties and land to unknown buyers. Money is coming into the city from unknown sources. It's changing the character of the city. The city
What sources?
Well, it's unknown.
Unknown? But
yeah.
I mean, do you have your suspicions? Is this some kind of infiltration that you're worried about?
Well, I mean, some militias or sides are affiliated with Iran, and the militias dominate the city. The city may retain the name, but it may not retain the character shortly. The city is losing, well, it's on the verge of losing its society. The society of Mosul is on the verge of death. Now, revival of cities, whether it's Mosul or Hiroshima, requires two things: government and society together. These are missing. There's unshaken belief in Mosul today that no change can happen without competent administration. No competent administration without security, no security without removal of militias, and no removal of militias without outside intervention. Now, the last thing is, Mosul's only hope is the role played by Turkey in the Syrian cities, where life is brought back in 18 months and law is restored and people are going back to cities. This is Mosul's only hope, and Mosul Foundation advocates for that.
For that model.
For that model.
Okay, Rabee, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much.